It's not.
And we're live, guys. We should be live. Welcome, everybody, to the last episode of Rant Café of the year. And this
ever.
is going to be a good one, guys. They're all good, but this is really going to be a good one. We're going to be talking about all the best and all the worst of 2016, what we're looking for in 2017, and just other random stuff that you guys want to talk about. Do we have confirmation that we're live?
I got the notification. Like right
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure I didn't get a notification again. Surprise, surprise. Yeah, you got to mute that, bro. You got to keep talking. And today we have a whole bunch of awesome people. I just hit my mic there. Whole bunch of awesome people joining us. We have the usual suspects: Bryn from Bryn's Fandoms, Macklenot, and All Day Anime, Briggs from All Day Anime. We also have Rose from Simply Rose back after a hiatus because she was busy doing non-anime things.
Oops.
Yeah, we were all talking about your back,
things,
bro. And we have a new special, brand new guest joining us this week, and that's Lou from LouTalksAnime. So let's start with you, Lou. Introduce yourselves to the people.
What's up, everybody? Lou from LouTalksAnime, and I am a occasional content creator that mostly just does manga pod. That's all I do. I don't even bother with my channel anymore. Whatever. It's fun though. I like YouTube. Anime is pretty cool, I guess. I'm excited for the stream.
You came highly recommended, Lou. Rose said that you're an excellent YouTuber.
Oh, thank you, Rose. Rose is great.
Just like
Yeah, and I also really enjoyed your Chronexia and the 8 Seals review. I don't think everyone enjoyed it, like the people involved with it, but I enjoyed it. And I just was watching recently your ReZero review, actually, that you uploaded a few months ago.
Yeah.
And that would be an interesting anime to talk about, because I personally thought it was a train wreck. And a few of you guys
Really? Okay.
Yeah, a few of you guys here have praised it, including Bryn, including Lou, including Rose, and including Macklenot. So this will be an interesting discussion, but we don't have to get right into that. Okay. What we could do now is just kind of ask you guys what you thought were some of the best and worst anime of the year, in your opinion. Maybe like name a few. You don't have to name them all. And while that's happening, I'm going to take a look at the chat and see all the lovely people that are in there. Mac, let's go with you. I always like to start with you to put you on the spot, not to give you any time to prepare, all that kind of stuff.
But I'm not ready. I mean, was the Pillow Boy anime this year? What? Was the Pillow Boy anime this year?
I'd like to say yes.
I wasn't a fan of the Pillow Boy anime. It was just, I mean, it wasn't good. I mean, it's obviously not for my, what do you call it?
I mean, but why? I mean, it's just dudes that are just talking you to sleep, man. I mean,
I
it's
know.
art. It's art.
Get that. I get that. And if it was well done, I'd be cool with that. It's just, it felt so, like I was laughing through the whole thing. Like it just felt so cheesily done. I'm sure there's people who enjoyed it. I'm not here to judge anybody on their choice of Pillow Boy anime, but that's one I wasn't a big fan of, because that's the first one I can think of, because you put me on the spot, Mr. Animac.
First of all, you had to cheat and ask Michelle. We all saw it.
There's no lifelines. I can't phone a friend or pick a vowel or.
No, you can't. And also, you have to be judgmental. That's like a part of a rant cafe. Like, we're ranting. Like, you always like, I don't want to be judgmental, guys. You gotta step up the drama. A few people in the chat were like, how come you guys are never arguing? So we have to like step it up, everybody.
step it up.
That's fair.
I can handle that. I can definitely deliver on that front, because all of you have terrible opinions and I'm ready to fight. So let's go.
Whoa.
Let's put my metaphorical like gloves on. Let's go.
Yeah.
Just to give some shout outs to the peeps in the chat. We got Blade Ninja, we got Phantom Lord 324, Creep Ellen, Kaiser Trigger, Just Who Exactly, Lobster Al or AL, my good buddy. He's been with us since we had like 800 subscribers or something like that. So I see you, bro. I love you, man. We got Michelle, of course, in the chat and also cheating and helping Mac. We got Vector Maximus, who has moderator status, so he has real power. He will use it wisely. And yeah, let's thank you, Mac, for your lifeline answer. Now let's go to Briggs to make sure everything is working. Briggs, some of your best and worst.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
We can for now.
Yeah? Blessed. Okay. 2016, My Hero Academia. I was a fan. It's like, you guys know I'm a big fan of shonens. Oh yeah, Rose gave me those thumbs up.
Got it.
My Hero Academia was pretty sick. I don't know, it just kind of appeals to me. It's a shonen. You got that whole like weak character getting stronger. I'm into that. It's definitely not for everyone because some people hate those like not really whiny characters. It's those weak protagonists that can't do anything at the beginning. But I'm into it. What was bad? I don't know. I drop everything, to be honest. I start off with like 6 shows, and then everything gets dropped. I dropped Kaijo. Is that how it's pronounced?
Did anybody finish Kaijo?
Sacrilege. No, that show was great. You guys are plugged.
What show?
Yes.
Which show?
Kaijo with 4.
Kaijo.
With 4
Kaijo?
exclamation marks. Yeah.
I actually just started.
That's 8 exclamation points. You need to get it right. Damn it. It's so good.
That's how hype it is.
No, I refer to the show as Kuroko no Ass Play because that's what the actual Keijo fights are. Like it sounds stupid, and it absolutely is, but they all have like special superpowers.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous. It's great. Watch Keijo.
I actually just started today. I watched the first 2 episodes today. I think it's hilarious so far. I'm loving it. I laughed out loud a bunch of times when they were studying in school astrology and boobology. I was just like, yes, this is my figure skating. This is my figure skating right here, baby.
I'll give it to that. Astrology got me. I enjoyed that. That was
funny
cool.
for the first 2 episodes. Like I enjoyed it, and then it got repetitive, and I wasn't really into it because I found the show took itself really seriously, which is what people found funny. I would have preferred if it was just like more fun. Like if I guys watched High School of the Dead. Like they do not take themselves seriously at all in the dub. And I feel like if they did that with Keijo, it would have been good.
But I feel like Keijo doesn't take
Can I
itself
spoil
seriously.
parts of Keijo?
Yeah, I don't care.
That
I don't
as
know.
selling points. Is everyone okay with this?
Yeah,
All right.
sure. Yeah, it's
There's a
Keijo. I
character-
don't think there's like a big twist or anything, so go ahead.
All right, so I'm gonna just name drop some of the superpowers that are actually references to other animes. So
Gilgamesh.
So the Gate of Babylon, that's one.
Yeah.
There was another character that quick draws her titty as a sword, and it does like that sword effect of like.
Yes, that was
Right.
in episode 1. In episode 1, I just saw that.
There's another girl that she calls her ass Cerberus, but it like watching her fight the main character, it was like kind of watching in Dragon Ball, like OG Dragon Ball, like Goku versus Yamcha when that happened early on, when Yamcha would use like the Wolfang fist, but like with ass, like basically it's Keijo's great. Everybody needs to watch Keijo.
So that's like
It's
it was
so bad,
funny.
It's bad, but in the way that it's enjoyable.
I agree. It was enjoyable for the first couple episodes. I stuck in for 4 or 5, and then I got bored of it. But then again, I get bored of a lot of things, so it doesn't say much.
You're just a coward, man.
I'm a coward. I just don't finish things.
No, but I loved it. I mean, so far I'm loving it. And yeah, I absolutely think it is like High School of the Dead in that sense. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's very self-referential. It's like, oh, you want fan service? Like, we're not going to sugarcoat it. Here you are. Ultimate fan service. We know what we're doing. You know what we're doing. And it's hilarious. So so far I'm definitely digging it. Rose, let's go to you. And you tell me your best and worst. You can't use the words Yuri or Ice. Go.
Well, dang. Okay. I mean, Haikyuu season 3 and
Yeah.
not Yuri on Ice. Yes,
Haikyuu.
Yuri on Ice were probably my 2 favorite of the year, but mostly Haikyuu because my babies.
Awesome.
Yep.
No,
and
you-
then what?
Yeah, go ahead. Some of the worst as well, for sure.
Honestly, I didn't like. I only watched anime that I liked this year. Like a lot of anime, like I was kind of like behind on, so people would be like, "That's gonna suck," or it wouldn't interest me. So I just like, I didn't get to watch all the anime I wanted, but like I didn't focus on the anime I didn't want to watch, if that makes sense. So
Yes.
I don't have a worst necessarily. So
Just say the one that's the most popular to get everyone going.
Right, like to get everyone to like fight.
Red.
Re:Zero sucks. I hate it.
We will explore that topic, that's for sure.
That's gonna be a large round.
It looks like Michelle and Elf are duking it out in the chat, but I just want to also say what up to Von Maru, Dark Sonic 786, All Day Anime is in there, Kaiser Trigger is in there.
Hi guys.
What's up, guys? Revan Alpha. So definitely welcome everybody. We're having a great time already. I think we still got to go to Bryn for her quick favorites, best and worst of the year.
Yes. So the ones on top of my head that were great, Boku no Hero was great. Three Gatsu no Line is continuing to be fantastic. What else? Erased was good. I don't know, that was like a forever ago, but it was still was really, really good. What else good? Re:Zero was great, like that. Those are the ones off the top of my head. But disappointments, not the worst, but disappointments was Berserk. I don't know if you guys ever tried to watch Berserk, but it was really, really disappointing. Super disappointing. As a fan of Berserk, very disappointing. And then Meoiga, I tried to review that. It was horrible. It was the worst thing ever. It was
Bryn,
really bad.
I had a mental block and I eliminated that show from my memory.
Right.
And
I know.
you just brought it back.
Triggered.
Bad.
Damn
It
it,
was
Bryn.
so bad.
Triggered.
Yeah.
So bad.
Like I was holding on for so long. I'm like, it's gonna get good, I swear. Like, no, I'm gonna stick with it. I don't want to be like the person who drops out. It was a waste of my time. It was such a waste. So that was a disappointment. But those are the only ones that like come to mind right away. The rest of them were ones that I watched a couple episodes and dropped. So I don't remember any of the rest of those ones.
Thank you, Bryn. I forgot to mention that Rude Devil is with us. What's up, Ross? We have Pause and Select, who said that Rakugo is the #1 anime of the year. I haven't seen it actually, but I've heard really good things, mostly from you and Roger Smith. But also Bean Boyin is in the chat. What's up, buddy? Trying to keep up with everybody. Yeah, and for me, I think I haven't gone yet. I still need to watch Mob Psycho 100 and Drifters. So those are the two that from this year that I still have to watch. My best thing so far that I've seen this year, though, has been Kimi no Nawa, the film. It's kind of just like standout.
Amazing.
Yeah, like I wasn't that much of a fan of the rest of the stuff. For example, Boku no Hero Academia was okay, especially near the end. It really picks up. I enjoyed that, but it was kind of like rough going as it was beginning. And yeah, with Re:Zero, we'll definitely talk about that. I had many issues with it. And yeah, Keijo so far I'm enjoying. So yeah, I think that's about that. Now, what else should we get into? Should we get into the Re:Zero?
I haven't gone. I have not gone, sir. I take offense to this. This is my first time coming on the show, and you already forgot about me. I want to.
Well, you haven't gone, Lou?
I have not gone, and I will talk about.
I thought I went to you first. Oh,
no, you did not.
I must have gone to you first for introductions. I apologize, Lou. Please.
It's okay. I'm going to talk about two shows that nobody watched that I think are great. Fune wo Amu is my anime of the year. Like, by far, best show to come out this year. The English title for it is The Great Passage, and it tells a really interesting and grounded story and a very adult story. It's about this main character that gets brought on to help create a dictionary. And honestly, it's one of the few shows in like the past decade that has cracked my top 10 all time. I highly recommend everyone watch that show. The romance component is great. It builds tension really well. All its characters are likable and relatable. The dynamics between the characters are all exceptional. I made a short video on my channel where I talk about why it's good without really spoiling anything. And I think it gives you a sense for what the visuals can be. The music was done by the person that did the music for the second and third season of Kuroko. So the soundtrack is quality. It's just great. Absolutely phenomenal piece of animation. Aside from Fune wo Amu, there's a Chinese cartoon I would like to talk about. It was licensed by Crunchyroll, so it counts as anime. It's called To Be Hero. To Be Hero is a really, on the surface and at first, it seems like a really dumb cartoon that's filled with toilet humor. And that's exactly what it is. But from that, if you stick with it, all of that ties into a deep and complex narrative with some really interesting and heavy themes. And I related a lot to the main character towards the end of the series. And it's just another great show that no one watched. And even like I don't really like to reference Mal ratings, but I do. And it has under I think it's like a 6.7 or something, like a really super low Mal score. But a lot of the people that gave that score early were people that dropped it. Like if you look at the actual numbers or statistics for this show, I think it's really good. And it has tons of Sakuga in the last few episodes, like really awesome fight choreography, and the animation for that choreography is just phenomenal. So those are the two shows that I really like that no one watched. And I think everybody needs to watch.
Nice. Thank you.
Can you repeat the first one? I just want to write it down, to be honest.
Fune wo Amu. The Great Passage.
I was hoping when you said no one watched, I was hoping that I would have watched them and be like, oh, I got you, Lou.
Yeah.
But you're right, I didn't watch them. So thanks for
Dude,
the
I'm like the
recommendation.
number. My video that has like 1,000 views is the number 2 search result for that show. So that tells me no one watched it.
Mm-hmm. That's could be. I just want to say, guys, I put everyone's links to everyone's channel here in the description if you're interested in checking them out. They're all awesome. I've personally checked out all their channels and really enjoy them. Of course, that's why I have them on the stream. I wouldn't have as guest someone whose content I don't enjoy, of course. So yeah, definitely check everybody out. And yeah, thanks, Ludo. That's really good that you brought up some anime that we don't know about, because that's the kind of a great way to inform people about these kinds of things. And actually, if you could maybe like send me on Twitter the names at some point afterwards, just
absolutely.
in case, just in case I try to write them down, but in case I like horribly misspelled them or something. And,
No, I got you, fam. Like I feel like Rant Cafe is a good platform to communicate these ideas, which is part of the reason why I came on. Like I wanted to have a conversation with you guys, but I also wanted to gush about the shows that I like.
Absolutely, and that's what we're here for, and that's why that's why I wanted to start this in the first place, and like to have a platform where we can all just hang out, talk with the peeps in the chat, and also build a community where we can actually talk about certain things that maybe we don't get the opportunity in our videos, because like you said, some of the anime that you mentioned, if you made a video, no one would watch it because they don't know what the anime is. But like this, we might be able to get a few more people to think about these things, to talk about these things. So yeah, awesome.
Cool. And can I say a show that I didn't like?
Yeah, for sure.
I hated Yuri on Ice.
I know you did.
I'm very public about my hatred and disdain for Yuri on Ice. And I think it was an entirely I have what I consider to be very sensible arguments against that show.
Yeah, please give it to us, because I haven't seen it. I just don't think I would enjoy it, so I haven't given it a chance. But like, yeah, I've heard a lot of people talking positive things about it. I would love to hear your arguments actually right now.
All right, so my negativity towards the show really starts after episode 3. After episode 3, you have Victor and Yuri working in tandem to develop Yuri's program going forward, and then which seems fine. It seems like at that point you're thinking, all right, they're going to focus on these characters, but it's also at that point where a huge amount of characters get introduced, and all these characters are given motivations and personalities. And while on the surface that seems interesting and good, I really don't think that's the case, because ultimately time has to be dedicated to building up the story arcs for each of these characters, and there isn't enough of that time. Like the overall, what was it, 11 episodes? 11 episodes long? There was not enough time to cover all that. So what ends up happening is you have the relationship between Victor and Yuri gets kind of put to the side and forgotten about throughout the entirety of the show, apart from bits where the creators are pandering to the audience by saying, well, look, they're making progress. Look, there's this one scene where they maybe should have kissed. That might have happened. Oh, and here they are getting engaged. You know, and it just felt like, it felt more like a fan fiction of the show as opposed to the actual show because of the quality of writing. It was pretty crap, honestly.
Yeah, I hear that, because from what I've seen I've seen a few of like Bryn's and Rose's reviews, and most of the time, and they can respond right after this. And yeah, Elf in Silver Armor, I forgot to shout him out. What's up, Elf? Sorry, forgot to shout you out. Basically, like a lot of them were like, the reviews were like, so what just happened? Did they do this? Did they do that? Are they engaged? Were they just giving each other Christmas presents? Like what? Like, so yeah, I definitely noticed from not being someone who hasn't watched it that there's been a lot of kind of like teasing or kind of like, oh, well, maybe this, maybe that. So in terms of plot development and things like that, I can definitely see how someone watching it would be kind of disappointed. But I'll hand it over now to Bryn and or Rose to say their piece.
Bryn, you can start. Go ahead.
I respect that opinion, but I still love Yuri on Ice. I mean, I had never watched a sports anime like that doesn't necessarily focus on sport. I mean, really, it's kind of about their relationship. It's not necessarily about the sport, which could be a positive and a negative. That's not how it's supposed to go, but that's the direction it takes. And I've never seen at least a sports anime that focused on like relationships, especially with like a coach and a competitor. Never seen that, but I really liked it. I'm happy that there's getting a second season though, because there were unanswered questions. I agree, but I'm hoping that that's going to get tied up in the next season. And I've really enjoyed it. So
Same.
And
Same.
I watched it for what it was. I wasn't really critically like analyzing it at all. I was kind of like, yeah, I kind of got caught up in the feels, and like I was just watching it for the feels and all the things that were happening, but I wasn't actually looking at it like seriously and being like, this didn't add up, like why did we get introduced to these people, and like all the things like you said, like totally valid what you said, like totally like yes, but like at the same time I feel like we both watched for different reasons, so maybe that's definitely it.
I mean, my mindset when I went into the show was more from the perspective of like, all right, first I was like, all right, this is going to be a romance story, and that's totally not what it is. It's a coming of age story for a gay couple. So that's the way I perceived the show. And once I had that perspective, I started to view it a little bit more favorably. But then I started looking at all the characters that were getting introduced. Like, for example, that one skater from Kazakhstan, that he comes in towards the end. He didn't need a backstory. He was basically just introduced to pair Yurio off with someone. And I feel like ultimately that really didn't play into Yurio's character at all. You know, so there's that. You have JJ's whole narrative arc, where they should have played more into the fact that he was going to succumb to the pressures of the finals. And what ends up happening is you have time that could have been allocated to that, which was a compelling story, probably the best story for a side character that wasn't explored properly. So I get why you guys like it. I mean, it does, in terms of its like appeal and the themes that it has, the implications of a show like this being produced and broadcast in such a conservative country like Japan. I understand why it's an important show. I just don't think it was very well executed.
Yeah, and I feel you definitely when it comes to like introducing too many characters and then not giving them enough development, because that reminds me of like Sword Art Online, especially the later arcs, when they just keep bringing in like a bunch of different girls, a bunch of different things, and then they just give them a few episodes and then they move on, and it's kind of like, okay, why are you even introducing these people? Like, do you just have to check off, you know, the types of there is or whatever? like for Sword Art Online in particular. But like if you think that Yuri had the same issue, then you know, I definitely understand you there. Also, Elf said that he really wants to talk about the Zestiria anime. What is it?
Tales of Zestiria X.
Yeah, Tales of Zestiria. I haven't seen it. If anyone has seen it, just say something about it so that Elf can be happy.
I've seen it. I finished it. It is.
It was beautiful. Like animation wise and art wise, it was really like nice. I just wasn't caught up in this. I just didn't like the characters, and if I don't like the characters, it's a pretty fast drop for me. I gave it 3 or 4 episodes.
That's a 100% valid reason to drop the show. I actually had the same problems with it, but the thing is, I was kind of hung up on the visuals because I'm a huge fan of UFO Table. I love what UFO Table does, you know. And whenever I'm given the opportunity to see any action sequences put together by them, I give it a shot. With the exception of God Eater, I didn't like God Eater.
That as well.
So there you go, Elf. We got you.
Yeah, nice. I also forgot to mention my boy here, Semafa. I haven't shouted him out yet. What's up, buddy? Thank you for coming. Thanks everyone for coming. The other thing, what was I gonna say? Yeah, the feels. Like Rose mentioned, you watched the show for the feels. I don't mind feels, but I feel like it has to go towards some higher purpose. Like I think a truly great anime will give you feels, but then it will teach you something about the human condition, or it'll have a philosophical point behind it or something deeper. So for example, in Clannad After Story, I feel like the feels there were very important, and they led towards a culmination that I felt was very philosophical, that said something about how we look at life, about the power of faith, the power of idealism in the face of tragedy, all this kind of things. So in that sense, I think feels are good in terms on like Anohana, with the feels in terms of like loss and human relationships and those kinds of things. But when a show is just trying to be feels for feels sake, or moe for moe's sake, or whatever, I think that's when we run into trouble, because of course the biggest things for me in a show are plot and pacing and character development. So if you can't do both, if you have character development but no plot, or a quick plot but you don't care about any of the characters, I think that's where we run into trouble. That's where you start to drop. That's when you pull a Briggs and just drop that anime.
Yep. I feel like everyone has their biases. Like there's certain shows that I could be like, wow, this is shit in so many ways, but I love it to death. Which is probably what Rose is feeling like. Even if like it has flaws, she's able to look past it because she's biased for certain like character types or certain like plot points that like is appeal to her. Like for me in My Hero Academia, I don't think it's the most perfect anime, but I loved it to death. And the same thing goes for my favorite anime of all time, Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple. It's just perfect for me. Type of thing.
There is something I like I said, Gurren Lagann is my favorite anime because of Kaminai, and a lot of people would say that I'm overthinking the philosophical aspects of Gurren Lagann, but to me it really speaks to me. I think it's really inspirational, so then I really love it. I rewatch it all the time. I feel like it's like a self-help or self-development type of anime, because I feel like when I watch it, I inspire myself and to do better things. So yeah, I definitely think in terms of individual tastes and having like an anime that's for you more than someone else, that's very fair point for sure.
Yeah.
Briggs, I have a question.
Yeah.
Have you read the manga for My Hero Academia?
I dropped it. Not dropped it. I stopped because I wanted to wait for next season, but I did start a little bit afterwards. Is it good?
I hated the section that was initially adapted. Like I scored it like we talked about My Hero Academia, the first like 30 chapters, which is what was adapted into this first season of the anime. I hated the first season, or I hated that section of the reading, but I love how it was animated. Now, going forward, I read another 30 chapters beyond that because we did another episode of Manga Pod on My Hero Academia, and it blows the entire first section of the reading. So what has already been adapted blows it out of the water. You are in for a good time. Adapted.
Okay, so I'm excited now.
Yes,
but like that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like the first 12 episodes, but I loved it so much. I love seeing that like the beginning of growth. Like when he went from being like nothing and not having any powers to like training super hard and getting them, that period, that training phase is just like huge on me. Like I love training in general. So I was 100% biased, but looking back, like...
Well, I mean, like the fact that you love training completely makes sense why you love Kenichi, the mightiest disciple.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that entire show is just training.
Like, and Hajime no Ippo, same thing.
Yep.
It's training and fighting. That's why, it honestly, like Animac was saying, like it motivates him to do something. And, like when I watch those shows, I want to work out and like do something.
Yeah, I wouldn't go as far as working out, but like
I don't think that's for me. For you, it's like motivation in other ways. Like
yeah,
Kamina's a fucking motivational speaker at this point.
I know. It's just like I'm just gonna do a bunch of like speaker series where I just go to different like places and just like, what would Kamina teach us about the life?
What Kamina teach us?
It's like a Kamina TED Talk.
You know how they have those like pickup artists that teach people how to pick up women? I can just be like, for otakus, I can be like the guy that uses Kamina to teach them how to have confidence with women and stuff. Those guys make crazy money, so you know.
I get to see you at a con, just like speaking.
It's like, sir, this is not an approved panel. You're speaking outside the washroom. It's like, no. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so Michelle definitely watched Gurren Lagann. Michelle said she hasn't watched Gurren Lagann yet, so we got to get her on that. Mac, are you still with us, Mac?
I am.
Yeah, we gotta.
Indeed. I'm still here.
We have to. You have to make sure this happens.
Oh, I will. Wow, one sec.
Oh yeah.
Also, we got Jiro the Hero up in here. What's up, bro? I've seen him a lot of times. We got Cyborg Man, a lot of cool peeps. I think I already shouted out Creep Helen, and Rude Devil is in here, aka Ross. And yeah, Ross, we were thinking about, me and Mac were thinking about maybe doing a gaming related Rant Cafe in the new year. So if you're interested, if you're game, let us know, because I think that would be cool. Hi, if you're game. I'm so
I see what you did there.
I didn't even notice that one. So any other anime you guys want to talk about? Of course, we will get into ReZero. I don't know if there's anything else we should cover before that.
Bryn mentioned Erased. What do you guys think of Erased?
I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Except near the end, I feel like they kind of gave away the bad guy a little too easy.
Yeah.
Like he was doing so well, and then it's like, Candy in the car. It's obviously him. But other than that, like, yeah, I liked it. It was good.
I agree. I think
Yeah, the end.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, I was just gonna mumble about the end. Like, obviously, I won't give too many spoilers, but it just, like, it was going so good, but then the end was a little bit of disappointment because it's like, oh, that's it. I guess we're done. Okay. But the first, like, 5 episodes were really good. It was suspenseful. I was like, who's the murderer? Oh my goodness. That mother of poor, what's her name? Oh, the mom. I just wanted to smack her. She's the worst. So it was good, but just the ending was disappointing, to say the least.
It was just a little bit too predictable for me, like Max said, and the ending felt a little bit rushed. But that's also because it's probably the same thing with Yuri on Ice. They were just on a like time schedule. They had like 12 episodes, 13 episodes to work with, and you can't really get the character development in that amount of time. It's pretty hard.
Well, depends how many characters you introduce. Like, look at Anohana. I thought like that was like what 13 episodes, and they did it, bro. They developed them characters, bro. So
that's the problem with adaptations, though, because like a lot of times the mangas aren't like, they're not thinking about it being adapted into 12 episodes. So they introduce all these guys because they have the time to develop them. 12 episodes of this, it's like it's not possible to do a very good job of it.
Fair point. Go ahead. Anyone else on Erased or another anime?
Yeah, did any of you guys watch Grimgar? Fantasy and Ash?
Yes.
I really like Grimgar.
I did.
It needs a second season. It really needs a second season. But Grimgar was really good.
I feel like a lot of people just like kind of passed it over because they watched like one episode and they're like, "This is so boring. I hate it." And it's just like,
this is Sword Art Online. We don't.
I
like
watched
Sword
4
Art
episodes before I reached that conclusion. I like the background art.
Yeah,
That's about it.
super
It
good.
is super pretty. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I really enjoyed it and I got really invested in the characters. So
Same. Needs a second season though. Like now. Now.
How many episodes came out? I think I finished it.
I think 13.
13?
Yeah,
Yeah,
13, I
probably
think.
then. What was I gonna say about it? I actually really enjoyed it, except for like I could see why people dropped it because the pacing wasn't the greatest. I feel like it'd be hyped for like 2 minutes and then nothing would happen for the rest of the episode, and I would get bored a lot of times and like pause it, go on Twitter. It's like I don't do that for anime I really like, but in like ultimately I like the characters, so I ended up watching it. But I feel like a lot of people actually didn't like the characters, but that's personal preferences. You know, why didn't you like it, Lou?
I didn't like the characters, and I don't know. It's just something about the way the combat sequences were constructed. Like they were well directed, but I don't know. They just didn't feel very impactful to me.
That's fair.
I don't know. It's I don't know. I don't like it. I don't know. It's just something about its presentation really bugged me. Also, like how they would occasionally sexualize the female characters. I typically don't mind that. I mean, you saw me go up to bat for Keijo, but it just felt completely unnecessary and out of place in Grimgar.
Yeah, it did feel a little bit out of place.
Yeah, Pause and Select is getting in the chat. It's hard for me to keep up because he's talking about all this like philosophical analysis of the anime. So Pause and Select, in the new year, we got to get you in here in the stream so we can get into all that fun stuff about the critical analysis of Erased and other anime. Would love to have you here in the stream. What else was I gonna say? Someone else mentioned something.
What do you guys think about Ajin?
Hated it.
Still need to watch it.
Haven't seen it. I love the manga though.
Yeah,
Dropped
it's on
it.
Netflix. Ting. Second season is on Netflix now. So
Yeah, I watched the first season. I didn't read the manga, but I did. First of all, I didn't like the animation. I found it very distracting. It's like very 3D, guys. It's like if you've seen Knights of Sidonia, it's more distracting than that. Like they try to make the humans more realistic, so they'll have them like in 3D, obviously, and they're like doing certain things like gestures, like kind of twitches, things like that, to kind of like what a real person would do. But it doesn't work for me. It just makes it more jarring, more distracting.
Yeah, it's that whole uncanny valley thing.
Yes, and it didn't work for me at all in terms of animation. Also, the characters I couldn't relate to. Like I did not find cared about anybody. The bad guys were really psychotic and evil. There is some kind of moral ambiguity in terms of okay, well, these people are mistreated, and then they kind of hit back. But it was just kind of there was nobody I could relate to. There was nobody I could really root for. And the pacing wasn't that good for me. It was just kind of it was I watched it all the way through. I didn't drop it, but it wasn't like an anime that kept me interested.
I really like the story. I'm kind of sad about the animation because I think that's obviously the main reason why people aren't watching it, because it's hard to watch. But the story itself, I've said this on stream before, it's like I'm one of those people that read the manga, and the manga is really, really great, and the story is great, but the animation is distracting, and I think that's why a lot of people don't watch it, but it's good. I like it. I wish more people would watch it, but it's one of those things. If you just can't stand it, then you just don't watch it, and that's fair enough.
Yeah, Katie Castillo also says the animation was off-putting, and yeah, for me, it definitely was. It took a while for me to get adjusted, and I also the only character I really feel like I like is that female cop, Ajin. That's the only person that I thought was someone I would actually root for and find interesting, but we don't know that much about her at all. So yeah, it's missing a lot in character development. I think that show needs to step the game up when it comes to character development for sure. Anyone else for Ajin?
I don't know why I dropped it, to be honest. It was one of those where me and Mac have said happens a lot, where we're just watching it and then we kind of forget about it for a bit and just never get back to it. Because I'm pretty good at overlooking animation. I could look past a shitty art style or a shitty type of animation with Ajin and enjoy a show for what it is. I don't even know why I dropped it, so I'm not gonna be able to add too much critique to it. But the characters, I'd say, is the one thing that I wasn't rooting for anyone, like Animax said. But the concept was awesome, just in general.
Yeah, it was like one of your classic,
and the bad guys.
It was like your classic original anime concept, like something that you wouldn't necessarily see in like a Western flick. So in that sense, yeah, it was like this is an anime, right? But then yeah, there was those issues that kind of just felt it lacking for me. But creative original concept for sure. Okay, why don't we talk about ReZero? Why don't we just get right into it? Why don't we roll up our sleeves and get to the rant part of Rant Café? Because I really, first few episodes I enjoyed, like first 5, I think Cyber was saying that in the chat as well. And then it just got messed up. Now, we're going to have a few spoilers, guys, like the first 8 episodes, I think, of ReZero. So, you know, if you don't, we're not going to talk about the ending and stuff, but I want to talk about this part, like within the first 8 episodes. So keep that in mind. But basically, I felt that when Rem first decides to kill Subaru because he's a threat, I felt that was so ridiculous. Like, you kill someone on a whim, like you don't know that they're gonna come back from the dead, so you kill someone on a whim with no evidence, and then later on Ram tries to do the same thing, and it's like, why would how can these people be redeemed? They can't. Like, if you think about it, if someone wanted to kill you based on no evidence, based on a whim, like seriously wanted to kill you and succeeded, but like you come back to life, whatever, how would you feel? Like, how would you feel about this person? Like, what kind of person is this? And the Bryn, when he jumps off the cliff, Bryn, that was the biggest jumping the shark moment that I've seen in anime in a long time. He's like, okay, so these 2 people who want to kill me based on nothing, on a whim, I love them so much after knowing them for a week that I'm going to kill myself, not knowing if I'll actually come back, because that happened. I came back earlier in another setting. I'm just gonna kill myself because I love them so much. Like, that to me was the biggest jump the shark moment of that. Like, if you stopped watching the anime there, no one could blame you, because that was just
Can I raise the counterpoint? Because I understand that this is Rant Cafe and you're in the middle of your rant, but you're applying, you're inferring in a way, or implying, that Subaru is a rational person. Very early in the series, it's established that he is the reclusive otaku type character that is completely uncomfortable with social situations. The fact that he would make these types of, like, grasping at straws connections with people that he doesn't know, because they are at least on some level appreciative of him, at least on the surface, I think totally makes sense, because he has his flaws in his personality, which if you're looking for more evidence of that, look at his relationship dynamic with Amelia. The show calls him out on his irrational behavior, his affection for these characters that doesn't seem justified. So I get where you're coming from. I disagree, though, because the show is well aware that he's that type of character, and ultimately goes into a process of trying to resolve that, which is what his entire character arc is in the second half of the show.
Fair point. That is a fair point.
He gets nowhere.
I noticed that as well. I think, yeah, like, I do have a thing where I like to relate to characters, and if I can't relate to someone's behavior, it does put me off. Like, if I'm like, if you said, if I be like, this person is being completely irrational, to me that, is personally off-putting. I totally get it, and like, I want to do a video eventually about the relationship dynamic between Subaru, Emilia, and Rem, because I feel honestly that the creators are trolling you. If you like Rem and you think Rem is best girl overall, the creators are trolling you, because if you look at later on in the show, like you mentioned, Lou, Subaru becomes obsessive, kind of psychotic white knight type of guy. It's like, Emilia, you need me to save you. I need to save you. And Emilia's not like, is like, actually, no, I'm a well put together person. I'm intelligent. I don't need you to save me. I've been through a lot in my life. I've been discriminated against. I don't need you to save me. And when she tells him that, he freaks out even more because he has this pathological need to be the White Knight. And that need is then filled by Rem, who is also the kind of damaged character that needs help. So maybe Rem is best girl for Subaru, but overall, I feel like the best girl is for sure Emilia, just because she's well put together and she doesn't need you to be her White Knight. If anything, that makes her a better character, not like a more complex, more interesting character than Rem, who is your classic, oh, I fell in love with you for no, like very easily after I wanted to kill you first. And now I really need you to help me because of my demon stuff, issues, demons. And also, I'm dressed as a maid, so I'm here to serve you.
See,
now we have to remember though. Yeah, I was gonna say, but we have to remember though that Emilia looks like she is obviously very young, but mentally she's only like 14 or maybe even less than that. Like she looks like an 18-year-old, but she's been alive for so many years. So like her mental state is not. That's why she's so innocent, and that's why she helps so many people. Is because not. I don't think she can take care of herself, quite frankly. I think that she doesn't have the capability of doing that, and she's been persecuted. She's like, "Why? What's wrong with me?" Like, woe is me kind of thing. Whereas Rem, this has been her life. Like she has been serving someone her entire life, taking away from her family. Like this is what she's worked towards to do and to be. And Subaru being there is not helping Emilia. I mean, he helps Emilia, but I think the relationship dynamic between them is not as strong as obviously Subaru and Rem.
Also, it doesn't hurt that Emilia is barely around in the second half of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Once she meets the other people that she's going to be going against, again, being vague,
right.
She's barely around. Like she has that one moment where she chastises Subaru and then she basically disappears for like 6 episodes. So the reason why people have an attachment to Rem is because they go through I think more time with her, which allows for that connection to be formed. And it doesn't hurt that there's that one confession scene in episode 18 that kind of like brings everything together.
Yeah, and that scene is cute, but again, that's cuteness for cuteness sake. That's feels for feels sake. It's like, oh, kawaii. But the point is, it's like we need to look at it from a deeper perspective. And in the deeper perspective, Emilia is clearly the more put together person to me. She doesn't need Subaru. She's her own person. So if Subaru wants to be with her, he has to kind of have enough confidence to understand that he has to be with her on an equal basis. Like she doesn't need him to save her. And in the end, his character does develop in the sense that he starts to understand this, and in the sense that he doesn't want to take credit, because like you remember in that scene when she's like, "What are you doing?" and she chastises him, 100% justified. He's like, "I saved you. You have to be grateful to me." Oh my god! But then, when at the end when he saves her again, whatever, he doesn't ask for the credit. Like she sees him and she's like, "Oh my god, Subaru helping me," right? So that shows him maturing. But like certain parts of the arc, like the pacing was really bad. Like sometimes the restarting, this is the second half of the show, was just so random. It's like, why? And he even says, it's like, I swear the creators are trolling us, because when he's fighting the main bad guy, he's like, I feel like, he specifically says in the last episode, I feel like I keep having to beat the last level over and over again. I'm like, yes, that's what I feel like too, bro. Why do you have to keep beating the last level over and over again? Like, what is going on with this? And yeah, like, so the one ending when it's like black and white, when it goes to black and white, it's like what is this, some kind of like retro Godzilla movie? Like, what are you guys trying to do with this show? Like, I feel like the creators kind of and the writers kind of didn't know what they were doing with the show, and then they went all over the place, and then they kind of try to bring it back together. And I do think there's a lot of potential for a second season. I think the way they wrapped it up, it's like some things were resolved and other things were like, because like, you know, the dragon and the witch and all this kind of cool stuff that we don't know about. There's a lot of unsolved questions. But yeah, there was a lot of parts in terms of the pacing and the character dynamic that to me were problematic. It's not a show that I would not want to watch. I don't think it's the worst, but it's like meh. I feel like it has a lot of issues that it needs to resolve. And who was your favorite character, by the way, guys, in that whole thing? Because I feel like my favorite character is Puck. Like
yes.
that is one complex character. Like, what's going on with that? I don't know. That's like, I want to watch just to see what happens with Puck.
Well,
I don't think I had a favorite character.
I actively disliked every character. I liked the show in spite of the characters. I also liked the show in spite of the fact that there was, like you said, no real resolution to the overarching narrative. So we don't know what's going on with the witch. We don't know what's going on with the election of the new ruler. The show is very flawed. I acknowledge that. I still had fun with it. You know, that's my general perspective. Is I know what its shortcomings are, and in the videos that I've made on it, I specifically highlight those shortcomings, and I feel like I can be a bit negative on that show.
Yeah, you were fair.
But it does some things good, like the dynamics between the characters, specifically in the more slice of life bits. I feel like it was just fun to watch them. But yeah, I personally hated every character. So
yeah, Lou, I think you were very fair in your review. I checked it out. Everybody who wants to check it out, please go ahead and do so. And I thought Amelia's character was good. I think she is sort of someone who has been through a lot, who is striving for great things, and she's also well put together. She's caring, she's intelligent, she's brave. So I thought she was a good character. So, you know, for Subaru, by all means, Rem should be his waifu. For me and Briggs, Amelia, 100%. Am I right, Briggs?
Team Amelia. I think she has more potential than Rem. I'm kind of on LouTalk's side. I didn't really like any of the characters, but it was just an enjoyable watch. There was not an episode that I finished that I was not looking forward to the next episode. However, I just didn't really like them. I don't know why. Like you were saying that you were saying that you don't like Subaru because he's irrational, and then Lou said that like that's kind of the whole thing. Like he develops, but I feel like he never he never developed. Like he started getting there and then just went back to it. Like I didn't really see the development I wanted to see. Team Amelia, yeah, I think she has more potential as a character. Like I like her, but we didn't get to see enough of her. Meanwhile, with Rem, it's like she killed him for essentially this like not much of a reason, and then out of like a whim falls in love with him, but that's all we get to see. Like we only get to know about her, so we end up liking her. Like,
well, I mean, the
default.
reason why Rem falls in love with him is because he saves her life.
Yeah, later on
there is a justification for her feelings for him,
and she hadn't ever formed like shall we say, proper, like, normal human relationships up to this point. Like, all she knows was ripped out of her home. Like, you are going to be a servant. You will use your abilities to serve. And so this is the first time that someone has outwardly stepped out of their position of, you know, to help her. So it's like, wow, there are people that actually care. And, like, this is what an interaction should be, not, you know, what she has always known to be a servant. So
that's actually a really fair point. I didn't think about it like that.
I did think about it like that, but it's like, to me, it's also like, yeah, I feel like she basically doesn't, she falls in love with Subaru because he saves her life, but that's not a reason to fall in love with someone. She basically falls in love with Subaru because he's the only man other than the Lord who is ever in her life. But is that then real love? Like, is that like the kind of, you know, what we think of love being? Like that, it just didn't feel genuine to me. She's like, yeah, he's the first man to ever show me any sort of attention, so now I'm in love with him. And I mean, maybe that's how it works in real life, but it just doesn't keep me as interested. Like, I think that Amelia is definitely a more interesting character. Rose, what about you? We haven't heard from you, have we?
That's because I actually haven't finished watching it. so can't really say anything.
I thought you did. I thought you did finish, but okay.
No.
That's cool. Anything else in terms of ReZero that anyone wants to bring up? Mac,
can we talk about the better version of ReZero, Konosuba? Konosuba is great.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that either. I watch too many classic animes, right? Because I want to catch up on the classics. So I'm like, I don't watch that much new stuff as it comes out. Which I think Cyanide Blizzard, who was on the show before and he will be again in the new year, he does a good thing where he does like first reactions for like every anime that comes out. So he'll watch like the first episode. He'll make a video about his first reactions, and then he'll decide from there which animes to keep watching. So I think that's a good way because, yeah, you can't watch every new anime that comes out and then also try to watch the classics and keep up with that kind of stuff. But has anyone else seen Konosuba? Do you want to discuss?
No, but that's one that I've heard a lot of really great things, and people have said nothing but good about it. So it's one of those ones that I had intentions on watching. But isn't there a second season?
Yeah, there's a
Like
second
Did that
season.
come out? 2017. Okay. See, that gives me motivation to watch it, because if it's getting a second season, then it must be half decent.
Yeah, it was. If I'm not mistaken, it came out the same season that Rakugo came out, and
Yes.
it was also done by Studio Dean, and it just handles its comedy fairly well. It pokes fun at the generic fantasy setting, and it has the whole like trapped in a game, like initial setup, but with more leaning towards fantasy, and it's just a fun watch. And again, feels very structurally similar to ReZero.
Okay, cool. So it's a better version. Yeah, like I said, I
Yes.
did I liked the setup to ReZero. I thought it was fun. The first few episodes, I definitely enjoyed. I was like, this is cool. This is a cool idea, cool setup. It's just that later on, like with the characters and stuff, it kind of like, again, me having to relate to the protagonist. I feel like if the protagonist is being too much of a Shinji or too much of a, you know, introvert or whatever, which I'm not, it's hard for me to like it. But yeah, if you recommend that show, I will definitely check it out. And like Sword Art Online as well, I thought was a great setup, a great idea that then doesn't go far enough because of, again, character issues. But Kirito, he's not a shut-in so much as like an overpowered generic, too generic of a character. So like, yeah, again, character flaws kind of taken away from a good setup, in my opinion. Mac, we haven't heard from you in a while. Are you still here? Are you with us?
I left 5 minutes ago. This is actually a recording. I'll get later. I mean, I liked ReZero for what it was. Like, was it well put together? Were the characters the best? No. Was it entertaining as hell? Yes. So, I mean, I liked it for what it was. But I can see why people wouldn't, or why people didn't have the best view on it. Like, I get that. And I mean, the only other thing I can think that I didn't like from this year was another re-show, which was Rewrite. I didn't like Rewrite. And I wanted to like Rewrite because I love Key Studios and pretty much everything they touch. But it's just bad. I think anyone who saw it kind of gets it. But maybe someone liked it. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Has anyone seen Flip Flappers? Because that was this year too, right?
Flip Flappers?
Apparently, it's really good.
Yeah, I know. I've heard it's good. I want to watch that too. I forgot about it, but yeah.
I dropped it for pacing issues and how it handled its characters. The action sequences, great. Look up any fighting sequence from that, and I think you'd be hooked. Like in terms of like the quality of the animation and just the fight direction was all phenomenal. But I couldn't stick with it, so I have just been on like the Sakuga blogs and just watching the little clips and enjoying that. That's been my experience with Flip Flappers.
Yeah, I think pacing is a big thing for me too. Like if a show is really dragging, like for me, for example, we talked about this in previous Rant Cafes, like Rose and a few other people, I don't know if it was Bryn or Mac or both, said that they really liked Eureka 7 or Eureka 7. But to me, that show had terrible pacing, and that really like made it very hard for me to keep watching.
I have not seen that one.
Okay, so then it must have been
So it's
Rose.
probably me. Yeah.
Me. I forget.
Yeah, so yeah, that was like a pacing issue for me there. Like it was, the characters seemed cool, that like there was a lot of potential, a good setup, but then like the main character was a crybaby, which always puts me off. And then yeah, there was just pacing issues. Like you're just waiting, what's gonna happen, and
I mean, I didn't really like the main character. I watched it for other characters.
yeah, Renton. Renton. Oh, anything else you guys want to talk about in terms of the best and worst, or even what you're looking forward to in the new year?
There are a few shows that we didn't talk about in the context of the best that I would like to bring up. I know I've been talking a lot, but I've seen a lot. I'm a fan of this year of anime. This was a good year for anime.
It was a good year. Yeah.
So other shows that we haven't talked about, because I actually have a wiki up, which is why I've been referencing so many different shows. I've been cheating.
I'm just looking at everybody's face, so I don't have anything up.
So Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress.
That was good.
A lot of people like wrote it off because it follows the same setup as Attack on Titan, and a lot of people were bitter that Wit and Production IG were working on this instead of Attack on Titan. I'm actually thankful for that reason because it definitely shows that they learned a lot from the experience of Attack on Titan. They applied that knowledge to Cabaneri, and I'm sure that that will also transition into the production of Attack on Titan Season 2. Which goes into stuff that we're looking forward to in the future.
Yeah, that's an excellent transition because I was going to mention Attack on Titan Season 2 is coming out, and Code Geass sequel is coming out, hopefully a season, supposedly at the end of next year. So I've been doing a lot of videos here on the channel about Code Geass because I'm a massive fan of Code Geass. So we're going to be doing some like theoretical theory videos and what's going to happen, what happened, the unanswered questions from the first 2 seasons, and also we're gonna do some theoretical videos for sure for Attack on Titan Season 2 because I also enjoyed that show, but it's just been so long waiting for like the second season. It's like, oh man, but like definitely a fan of that show, so we're gonna be doing a lot of that. So I'm looking forward to next season for sure. Like so, those 2 are the big ones, obviously Code Geass and Attack on Titan in terms of sequels, and yeah, there's some other historical anime that look pretty decent, but they might be those that no one watches, Lou. Like you mentioned, there might be some of those that no one watches, but they look good. That I'm probably gonna get into. And yeah, what else are you guys interested in the new year? Mac, Bryn, Rose, Briggs.
New Prince Sama. Just kidding.
Yeah, 5th season. What?
I'm looking forward to the Yuki no Wayusha movie. So that's gonna be pretty good. I like that show. I thought it was a pretty well done Dark Magical Girl series when it aired. And the fact that it's getting a film adaptation, I'm wondering what exactly they're going to adapt. Is it going to be a continuation from the series, or is it going to adapt the light novels, which the way it was originally set up is the light novels were, or the anime adaptation was for later stuff that happened. And there's essentially a gap in the story which hasn't been adapted into anime form. So I'm wondering if that's what's being adapted. Other stuff that I'm looking forward to, the Tales of Zestiria X second season. I don't think it's going to be anything stellar in terms of like characters or story, but I think it's going to be visually very, very interesting. And there's
it'll 100% be like the anime. Quotable. It's the animation and choreography, like fight choreography, is gonna be fantastic. 100%.
Exactly. Like that's the only reason why I'd consider watching the second season.
Yeah, and Katie.
I think 27 is gonna. Sorry, go ahead.
So just wanted to mention that Katie Castillo said that Rakugo is getting a new season 2, and also a lot of people have been talking about Blue Exorcist. That's been a pretty hyped second season. I haven't seen Blue Exorcist yet, but I don't know. Should I be excited about that? Should I check out Blue Exorcist? Like to me, the presentation didn't really hook me. It seemed like very Sword Art Online-y. Like when I looked at the.
Well, it was also an A1 Picture show.
Same.
Like it was originally
same
A1
animation.
Pictures. And the thing is, that's one thing in terms of like character designs and art styles. A1 Picture, while they do have some shows that deviate from that, like Suritama, more often than not, they have a very similar aesthetic.
So anyone else? So Michelle is recommending in the chat that I have to watch Blue Exorcist. Anyone else have a good view of that show?
Oh, I'm excited to watch it. I don't know what they're gonna do because the ending didn't follow the manga, and most of the show didn't follow the manga for that matter. A1 Pictures just kind of did their own thing. I enjoyed it. I was quite a bit, like not pleased with the ending, how it ended, but like, I want to see what they're gonna do because I have no idea what they're gonna do with the second season. If they're gonna follow the manga or continue off of how season 1 ended. But overall, I like the characters and I like the story, so.
Yeah, I feel like there are a couple really big second season like shows coming out this next year. That's one of them, Blue Exorcist. But One Punch Man, Attack on Titan, Boku no Hero. Those 4 are like kind of like big second seasoners coming up with like a big following, big hype surrounding those. Well, 4, I think, mostly.
Oh, the 7 Deadly Sins as well.
Oh yeah, that one's a good one too.
And Code Geass, which has the biggest following ever.
My apologies.
Oh, there's actually a lot of season 2s coming out, like that are like pretty hype.
Yeah, we gotta milk all that hype, guys, for our YouTube channels. We gotta milk it hard.
Oh yeah, Blue Exorcist video already in progress.
Yeah, like we gotta do preview for every episode, live reaction, quick review, longer review, like all of it. 5 videos a week per episode.
Oh man. I'm actually no Blue Exorcist and Konosuba fact videos are on the way.
Yes.
Gotta milk that out.
Do it. Who else? Who else wants to chime in about next year? Rose, anything specifically that you're excited about?
I'm excited for Boku no Hero season 2, and I guess One Punch Man will be all right.
Yeah, One Punch Man is awesome. I didn't even know that the second season's coming out next year. I knew it was like it was up for grabs. Like, when will it come out? Will it come out? But if it's confirmed, that's awesome. And Lou, I think I want to hear from you more because you just kind of mentioned Attack on Titan season 2. But any other anime that you're excited for in the coming year?
I know Chaos Child is coming out next year,
yeah.
Which I'm not sure because all right, it's one of the semicolon games, you know, and it's an adaptation of a semicolon game, which a lot of those tend to be tied to Steins Gate. So I'm not sure if this one follows that or if this is a connection to Chaos Head, which was a terrible show. Don't watch Chaos Head; it was really bad. I'm curious to see what like any adaptation coming of those series of games always catch my attention. So, I mean, that aside, I mean, I think Bryn did a great job in naming them. Basically, just Boku no Hero Academia, more One Punch Man. 2017 is going to be a good year for like gateway anime, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And another one that Pause and Select mentioned was Little Witch Academia also.
Oh yeah.
So that's another big one.
And Jiro the Hero, he said that I'm going to be mentioning Code Geass in every video. Yes, I will.
Yes.
In my Attack on Titan Season 2 video, I'm going to be talking about how Lelouch is better. How Lelouch would have crushed those Titans after Season 1. It would have been over, guys.
Any news on Steins Gate Zero? Do you guys know?
No, not really.
I just want it here, like now.
It's basically
I just want to own the movie, and I'm glad that Funimation got it and that they're finally going to release it in March.
Well, actually, the movie was completely unnecessary in my opinion. Like, I felt the movie added nothing to the original plot. It was just kind of like a different perspective, and it was definitely not worth the watch in my opinion. So if they're going to make a sequel that's on that level, I would rather them not make any sequels.
Well, I think that the sequel will play off of the film. Like it'll build from the narrative that was established in the film.
So I feel like you have to look at the movie like separate of the series because it doesn't add anything to the series, but it's just a movie. It's just a different perspective of the same characters that we love with different events happening. But for Steins Gate Zero, it's basically so episode 23 has already been done for Steins Gate Zero. It's basically in episode 23, spoilers, stuff happens and kind of sets him on the way to save people, whatever, and they're basically making it so that didn't happen in episode 23, and now he's gonna have to save them in a different way, so it's gonna continue from episode 23 as if he didn't get a message back from himself in the future.
Huh. Yeah, that could be good, or
I just tried to say it without spoiling anything because I feel like people haven't seen it yet, and it's unreal. Rose, I don't know if you've seen it yet. You should. I know you have it downloaded.
Yeah. It's there.
Nice. So yeah, I don't know. Unless you guys have anything other that you want to bring up, we could start wrapping it up. Anybody else want to jump in for anything?
I mean, do you want to just run through some of the other 2016 shows that we didn't talk about?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like all right, so no one mentioned 91 Days. which was the Studio Shuka anime original. I thought in terms of its story, it was really interesting, and its characters was really interesting, but it had a lot of flaws in its visuals, which I don't know. It's just something like I like that Prohibition era setting. I'm a huge fan of like history, so, but it kind of fell short. So like that, I know earlier we were talking about like disappointments. That was a show that ended up disappointing me from a visual standpoint. Did anybody else see 91 Days?
Mm-hmm.
I saw about 6 episodes of it, and then I got tired of it because they're like, as standalone stories, they were fine, but it felt like there was no real progression overall. I more often than not, I'm not a fan of episodic shows. So
yeah, I don't know. When you're talking about 91 Days, it just reminded me of that. Like, it was a show I was pretty disappointed in, and it took place in an era and had a concept that I should really like, and I just was disappointed in the end.
Mm-hmm. No, I think that's more or less where I fell on the spectrum. That I just didn't like how it was executed, and how it was built up structurally. Like, I feel like if everything would have been tied into a central plot earlier into the series, like let's say 1 or 2 episodes or 3 episodes that were episodic, and then everything feeding into one central story, then I think I would have taken more of an interest in it. But there was no real indication that it was going to do that. So Kisniver also came out this year.
I like Kisniver a lot.
Kisniver was great in terms of its presentation and the characters. They were a lot of fun. I don't know, just the overarching story I didn't like so much, but the characters made up for it a lot.
It's kind of nice to also like have a Trigger Studios Trigger Studios anime that wasn't like over the top crazy, like, which I like. I'm all game for their craziness, but it's just kind of refreshing, I guess, just to slow it down a bit.
Oh, and speaking of Trigger and over the top craziness, what about Space Patrol Luluco?
Oh my God.
I love Luluco. Luluco is so much fun.
Oh man, I almost want to go watch it again now. Like, it was just, every episode was awesome. Loved it.
Yep, I will agree with that. And I don't know. There was a lot of good shows. So.
Yeah, did anyone watch Bungo Stray Dogs other than myself?
Oh, I've heard so many good things about it. I haven't, but I've heard a lot of good things.
Second season was far better than the first, so if you can make it through the first season, watch the second season. But that was all. The first and second season was this year too, and we sort of not really to mention Mob Psycho 100. Do we like really talk about it? Not really.
No, we didn't. Mob was great. I love Mob Psycho 100.
Yeah, I still have to see it again. Another one that I've heard really good things about, but that I still have to see.
Yeah, my experience with Mob, I'm very much biased in favor of that show. I was there for the US premiere at Anime Expo and for the world premiere of episode 2 also at AX. It was a lot of fun. And the show, like, my attachment to the show is based off of that experience, and I just had such a good time watching that show that whenever I would, load up the episode or the newest episode, that hype continued. Like, I just felt like I have a connection to that show, and I'm looking forward to more of it existing. I like and everything that gets penned by one is an instant classic for me.
Yeah,
I definitely relate to that, Lou. I think that's one of the reasons why we all love anime so much, because like certain experiences we have, they really, certain animes capture it, and they make us feel these things that are powerful and important and motivational. So I think that kind of like speaks to the kind of feeling you want to have for a really good anime that keeps you going, that keeps you loving, that keeps you wanting to discuss things like this. So yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Okay, guys, I think we can start wrapping it up. Let's thank you again for coming, all our special guests, especially LouTalksAnime, our brand new guest. You were very informative. You definitely didn't talk too much. You talked just enough. Brought a new perspective in. I really appreciated that. I want to make sure that we go through everyone and introduce, let everyone know to what you do, who you are, kind of thing. And actually, we'll start off with you, Lou.
All right. So, I mean, I've had my name said a few times. I'll say it again. My name is Lou. I'm from LouTalksAnime. You can find me at youtube.com/LouTalksAnime now, where I occasionally produce anime-related content. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it isn't very good. Please bear with me and hit the subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate that. Apart from that, I also do Manga Pod with Dodger from Press Hard to Continue and Dexterity Bonus. Also with Happily Aaron and Yokorama. And what we do on Manga Pod is we will take a segment of reading. It's basically a book club, and we'll read like roughly 3 or 4 volumes worth of manga and discuss it weekly with a guest. Actually, in this upcoming schedule, which the schedule hasn't been published yet, it'll get published either today or tomorrow. Rose is slated to be a guest, and in the future, like I hate to put you on the spot, Bryn, but in the future, at some point, I'd also like to have you on. And the same goes to the rest of you. Like we'll flesh out those details when they come. But I had fun talking with all of you.
Oh, likewise. Thank you for coming on, Lou. And for sure, yeah, get at me and the rest of us whenever you on Twitter, and we'll be in touch. And hopefully have you back again in the new year, because this was great. And I want to make sure that we can do Rant Café every week, even when some people can't make it. I want to make sure that we have enough people that we can still have a great discussion for the people, right? Because we do this for the people. And for ourselves, because we have a lot of fun talking to each other and to everyone in the chat. So in the end, this is a selfish endeavor, I think. Let's go to Briggs. Tell us who you are, what you do, and a shout out to Too Spooky. He made an appearance in the chat to say what's up. Yeah.
What's up,
Too
Luke?
Spooky. What's up, bro?
I am Briggs from All Day Anime. Anime related content all day. Like fact videos. I'm just like, that's what I'm focusing on mainly right now, just because I'm really into like it's interesting facts and things you wouldn't already know about characters and series. I'm trying to make some like vlogs or interactive content so people could like get to know me, which is why I like doing these type of streams. And yeah, that's about it. Hit that subscribe button. Yeah, I subscribe to Lou right now, hoping for that sub back.
Not to put you on the spot or anything, but yeah.
Oh, I'm working on it right now. I got it.
And yeah, links to everybody's channel should be in the description. I subscribe to all of these guys, of course, enjoy all their content, and I would definitely encourage everybody to do the same, to check them out, to subscribe. Bryn, let's go to you.
Yes, so my name is Bryn from Bryn's Fandoms, and I do anime content on my channel, discussions, either spoiler-filled or spoiler-free, depending on the day. Like the occasional vlog and just fun video, but mostly anime content. And yeah, you can find me on YouTube and Twitter, and it's all at Bryn's Fandoms. So, thanks.
Thank you, Bryn. Thank you, Bryn. Always a pleasure. And let's go to Rose, our comeback kid for this week.
Hey, I'm Rose from Simply Rose. I do anime reviews, blogs, hauls, all of that fun stuff. So I'm back. I'm happy to be back. So.
And we're happy to have you back. And yeah, enjoying the reviews you guys have been doing. Bryn, you did the whole 12 Days of Christmas. Kudos to you. That's a lot of videos. Rose, did you also do it?
Too much commitment. Couldn't do it.
Too much.
Same on this end for me too. I was like, a lot of people were like, "Oh, we're doing this." I'm like, "Great job, guys."
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to Mac.
Ooh, well, I'm Macklenot. I mostly stream, but I do make content on the YouTubes for the Animu and mostly skits and sometimes some vlog stuff if I have to. But it's mostly on Twitch, so sometimes you'll see Twitch highlights and things like that, all that fun stuff. So if you like shenanigans, then you can sub to that, and hopefully I won't let you down. And
what
if I
type
do,
of
you
games do you play, if you don't mind me asking?
Whatever I feel like. A lot of like RTS sort of stuff. Undertale was a big bit of the stream life for a while. A lot of old stuff. Like Civ 1, played a bit of Civilization 1 for a bit. Always
Fun
good
stuff.
time. Yeah.
I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, Mac is a bit of a retro gamer, but definitely cool dude. He does Twitch, he does YouTube. Be sure to check him out. I consider him a close personal friend. He does not consider me a close personal friend, but I still consider him.
I consider you a closer, more personal friend. So
Closer.
Very, very personal. In fact, we were thinking about taking figure skating lessons together.
This is true.
Pairs.
Actually, I booked us for Tuesday, so I hope you're ready. I'm coming to Niagara Falls, by the way. Oops.
Ooh. And
I lost $100.
yeah, we were gonna do it, but then the coach's name was Victor, and we were like, no, back up.
Max on ice.
Well, yeah, did I miss it? I didn't miss anybody, right?
Nope. Yeah.
Okay, good. Everyone had a chance to, because yeah, there's a lot of us today, so I'm sorry, I don't want to miss anybody. In terms of me, you guys know who I am. I am Animac, Anime Uproar. We do a lot of stuff. Week's best video, anime videos, Rant Café live streams. You probably know about those because you're watching this right now. And doing a lot of Code Geass theory stuff. We're going to be branching out into other anime theory stuff. And yeah, I think that's it. Thanks again, everybody, for coming. My special awesome guests, all you guys in the chat. It was a pleasure. It's always such a fun time to do these things. I look forward to doing them in the new year. Happy New Year, everybody. We don't talk until then. And until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.